Hello everyone, my name is Dante or River. It's nice to see you all again. Today, we're going to be doing a moving jaw. Well, I'm teaching you how to actually make it move.
Okay, pause. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I totally scrapped the jaw moments after this video. Actually, it was like yesterday. I've been working on this video for quite a long time. We're gonna ignore that though. But don't get me wrong, it's not because the jaw didn't move correctly. No, it's because it just looked ugly and I didn't like how it looked. So this video is just showing you how to take your already made jaw and make it work. It's not to show you how to make a moving jaw in general. If there are any glitches or weird things inside this video, I apologize. It was already a really long video to do and it took me forever. I just wanted to get it done and over with. And honestly, any suggestions you have for future videos, please let me know. Also, sorry for my loud cat in the background. Also, I wanted to mention to you guys that I am not good at tutorials at all. And the fact that I'm even doing one is crazy. Now, of course, eventually I'd like to do more than tutorials. Actually, I don't really want to do tutorials because I make this for a living. Now, let's continue.
So, I already have the stuff. I just need to put it together. So, I'm going to be doing that on camera where you guys can see it. And thank you all so much for all the views for my last videos and for the followers. I got around 2K views on that one video that I made, and I got 500 followers, I just checked. I'll be posting as many tutorials as I can, but I cannot promise that I'll be able to do as many, because eventually I'll run out. But definitely do check out the video that I made about my quad paws, because they turned out really good, and I think it's a pretty good video. It's actually one of my first videos that I ever made. So, here we go. Now we have the two pieces. We're going to align them correctly after I play with it for some weird reason. Okay. This is probably one of the most detailed masks I've probably made. I individually glued each little hot glue on top of every part of this mask. Well, aside from the inside, of course. But this is how I made the scales of the leopard gecko. I thought it turned out really well, and don't get me wrong, I still have to paint it and stuff, but regardless, I love it. And I also hot glued the inside, which might look a little bit weird in some parts, but I'm going to airbrush it to make it look a lot more detailed. As per usual, the stuff you're going to need today is hot glue sticks, elastic bands, a hot glue gun, of course, and of course, you do need to realize that put something underneath it, please, because it is hot and it will burn through anything. Of course, I also still recommend that because it's hot, you have a parent's permission to use it first before you do it, and if you're underage and stuff. It's very painful. Trust me, I burned myself in this video. And of course, you can't forget the jaw and the mask. And if you want, go ahead and comment down below if you're wanting a tutorial on how to make the mask and jaw, which I can totally do that in steps. One of the most important steps that you're going to do today is make sure that the jaw and the mask is lined up exactly how you want it before you start gluing in the elastic. Because if you don't, then you're probably going to glue in the elastic with an awkward shape. It'll move around a lot, so sometimes I do recommend getting pins of some kind. Of course, be careful because they're sharp. And if you're doing a commission, then make sure that you measure the person's face before you do this, because their face could be a different actual size compared to some others, like yourself or the mannequin you could be using. Maybe they have a longer face, maybe they have a shorter face. Yeah. Then you're going to need to get your elastic, and you're going to cut 4 strips. And if you want, you can cut 5, just in case if you accidentally, mess one up, which can happen. So you're going to cut a fair amount, not too much, but enough to where, because, more is better than less. Normally I do this trick where I just kind of do this so that they're symmetrical. It's a lot easier than what you might think. I forgot to mention this, but I'd also recommend to get some kind of marker or something to show that, hey, this is where you put this elastic part, and I recommend to get the same color as the mouth. It is very useful. Trust me. Now I'm just laying the elastic down to make sure that everything looks right, and also do make sure that it does open in this position. Make sure that it's slanted and don't make it like straight up, because that's gonna not work. And after you get that one done, then you go ahead and pattern where it was. And the same thing on the other side. Again, make sure that it's slanted and it's at a certain angle. Now you're going to do the same thing on the other side, on the bottom. I like to use marker or something so that I can actually mark exactly where the elastic was. And that helps so much. And also do make sure that you mark exactly where the glue stops. Despite what you might think, it actually plays a big part in this part. Now, being careful, you glue a little bit on the elastic. I'd recommend technically to glue it on the actual square, because that way you know where the glue is. And then you do the same on the other side. And before you glue it on, do make sure that it actually lines up. Because if you glue it on, then it's kind of semi-permanent and it's really hard to get off. As you can see, I totally did it wrong. I was actually supposed to be mirroring exactly how it was on the other side, and I kind of have to just guess where it is because it's kind of unlevel, but I kind of just glued exactly what it looked like on the other side. Sometimes it's not always right. One of the things about making moving jaw masks and why it's so expensive when I make them is that it is completely trial and error because it almost never is exactly right. Well, you're gonna leave it for a couple seconds, because if you decide that you want to try and move it and glue it on while it's still trying to dry, then oh boy, it's gonna entirely mess up the entire piece. Now, once again, I am trying to make sure that I did this right again. I'm gonna warn you right now, this entire video is mostly me just trying to figure out what the heck I did wrong, because a lot of the times, I don't know. The key to this is to try it, honestly, and make sure that you have it slanted, because it's not going to work if you don't have it slanted. I don't know why it's like that, but it is. Because you want it to go down at an angle and not just go down, if that makes any sense. Because trust me, I've seen how some masks will like legit stretch downwards and not actually like go down at a angle, which they look a lot better going down at an angle, but you have to do it a certain way to be able to achieve that. It looks a lot more realistic, and it really helps with the look and the flow and the movement of the jaw. Trust me, I did it on so many of my masks, and that's what many people compliment it for, is that the jaw moves so nice. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. I put a lot of work into it because it's difficult. And sometimes I use pins to place in the elastic to make sure it stays in there, just for extra measure and make sure that it's okay. Be careful. They're very, very pointy and they're pokey, and not to mention sometimes the glue will get stuck. It'll make the needle stuck and it'll take the ball out, but it won't take the actual needle out. So in those cases, I suggest to get some kind of pliers, scissors, or something and just kind of grab it out. But definitely do not leave it in there. It will hurt you. So I just tried it on, and I bet you can already tell that it didn't work. So I'm taking the pin out right now and I'm doing it differently. What I like to do is I like to place the elastic in a certain spot and try out how the jaw moves while it's like that. I'll just have my fingers hold it down for them, and then I'll kind of keep it there and take it off so that I can see where it's at. But sometimes it's really hard to do that because it'll fall, or I'll be already working for a while, so I'll get super stressed out so fast. Again, this is why moving jaws are a lot more expensive than my half masks. Apologies, but there's a reason as to why. And now that I can't remember, got it right, I'm putting a pin in it to make sure that it stays in that spot. Now, I want to mention that gluing down the elastic in certain spots past the actual lines can actually really take effect into how the jaw moves. So how much glue you put down on the elastic is really important. Either too much or too little can affect it good or bad. What I've noticed from making this mask is that more glue on the bottom is good. You want more on the bottom. Don't take my word for that, because like I said, these kind of things are trial and error, and it could be different. So you just have to keep trying. Now I wait for ages while that dries, even though I could literally just put a pin in there. Now, as you can see, it did not work. Whatever I did made it look so weird, and it just looks like Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's, the nightmare version. So what I'm thinking that might work is if I put maybe like more elastic on the other side, and I make it to where it stands up. This elastic will be going the opposite direction of the other one, still at a slant, but it will be going the opposite direction. I recommend to felt your actual backing first before you do this, but I was wanting to record this video, and I'd already recorded so much, so I wanted to get it over with. And I got a little bit on the actual base part, which is not great, but hey. And I also figured that maybe putting more glue on the bottom would actually fix it. And it kind of did. What this is going to do is it's going to keep the mouth shut a lot easier, and you won't have to you'll have to move your mouth more to make it open. This isn't exactly a completely effective way to make the mouth move, I'm going to be honest, but it helped at this moment, and it's probably going to change, I'll be honest. I ended up gluing more on one of the sides because it seemed like it was just kind of like lacking glue and it needed more. I don't know if that's actually true. Looking at it right now, I can see that it doesn't look that way, but I think I evened it out a little bit more. I recommend putting pins exactly where the glue stops so that you know exactly where it is, and you make sure that pretty much it stays in that one spot and it doesn't move, doesn't come off, doesn't glue too much, you know what I mean. Don't wear the mask while the pins are in. I'm going to warn you right there. I probably should have warned you a lot sooner, but not because it will poke you from the inside, but if you might touch it and it might poke you from the outside and you won't realize it because you forgot that it was even in there. So don't wear it while it's in there. As I'm seeing here, the jaw is very crooked, so there's something off with the gluing again. This is very trial and error. Very trial and error. It looks like a grandpa. I'm going to be completely real with you right now. I just skipped through so much trial and error that I just had. I had so many problems with the jaw. It was just not working. But, you know, in circumstances like this, what I always say is snack time. It is very important that you take breaks and you eat and you drink while doing these, because this is some stressful stuff, man, okay? This is like math level kind of stuff. And I'm not talking subtraction or adding. I mean algebra. So I want you to take this time, pause the video, get up, and go get something to eat. And if you've already eaten, then I want you to set a timer and then go do it later. But for now, let's continue. Always make sure you have a place to place your pins. Because if you just leave them laying around, then you could lose them, you could step on them. If you have animals, they could eat them, and then that could cause a huge problem. Just make sure you keep them in a place. I keep them in this little pin cushion place. It's really nice, and honestly, that's kind of how I even got my pins. They were just on there already. But you can also use a scrap of foam. You could use literally anything that takes punctures. Anything. As long as you don't lose them. Alright, time to find out what's wrong with this one. As you can already see, it looks like it kind of works. It moves. It does the whole, going at an angle and not just down. But problem is, it barely moves. You have to really put your face up in there and move it. And when you do, it just kind of goes straight down, which is a huge problem. You don't want that. You want it to go slightly down at an angle, not just straight down. I'm going to be honest, I was really, really upset. So I had to take a second to take a break. Do that. It's important. If you look like you're stressed out, you need to take a break. That is your mind and your body telling you to stop. And right as I was doing that, all I could think about is how I could fix this. And in doing so, I just thought to myself, what is the harm in adding 2 extras? What's the problem in that? One to make sure it moves, and then another one to make sure it stays in one spot. And that's what I did. The one that I had was to make sure it stayed in one spot, and the other one Well, it was to make sure that it moved, because I think it worked. I'm gonna give a fair warning to everyone. I honestly took like 2 weeks off of making this video, so I have no clue what I talked about. I completely forgot, so I apologize if I repeat anything. I was about to say that, I put a pin in it and be careful because the pin might like come off or something, but then I was like, wait, did I already say that? So, also I'm a little bit, sick with allergies, so, yeah. Sorry about that, guys. And because of the fact that I have no idea what to say, I'm just gonna have music play through this part. Because I legit have no clue what to say. So, enjoy some music, I guess. Hopefully it's not copyrighted. Please don't sue me, YouTube. After having the pen in there and letting it set for a while, I would take the mask and see how it turns out. As you can see, it actually looks a little better. It doesn't move nearly as much as it should, but regardless, it's still, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. That's what matters. So after that test, I can tell that what the problem is that it's too tight. So I'm going to release some of the tension on the very back elastic. Hopefully what that should do is allow it to move a little more freely, but as well still being kept in one spot by the other elastic. I'm just realizing this now, but I'm pretty sure what actually was going on is that I hadn't even glued it in yet, and I was testing to make sure it would work. So I think that's, yeah, I'm marking it so I can glue it down. But if I were to be doing it now, I probably would have, like, gave it a little more room, which might be what I did. I might have glued it in a little bit freely. But that's what I can tell from looking at it now, is that it's definitely a little bit too tight. So that's what I would have done now, but I can't really do anything about it now. This is your reminder, glue hot. It hurts, okay? Be careful. I'm pretty much almost like desensitized to hot glue, but there are times where it catches me off guard. Like normally I can just touch it after a little while. Like it doesn't matter to me, but in your case I definitely recommend not doing that. I know I've said it many times before, but when you are removing your pins, be careful because they might come off. Yeah. So, in this situation, what I normally do is I take some tweezers, which not everyone has, but I do. I always keep them on hand because they're very, very useful for this, and I just pluck it out. Because don't I recommend to actually have something to get it out with before, because don't leave that in there. Don't leave that in there by any means. Don't leave it in there, okay? It will hurt you or someone. Do not leave it in there. It will hurt anyone who puts it on. After that mess up, I went ahead and glued down the elastic once more. While this is gluing, I wanted to mention that I have a Discord server now. Wow, guys! So basically what this Discord server is, it's pretty much me just showing all of my work in progresses, how it's showing you how you can commission me easily. It shows you whenever my commissions are open, when they're closed. It also just has a place where you can chat with people. You can also send reviews if you've already commissioned me or bought from me. You can also ask people who have bought from me. like on little chat forums and stuff how it went and what they recommend and stuff for commissions. And being a member on my Ko-Fi can, whenever you're on my Discord server, can get you so many cool perks, which I'll list them here in the video because I don't have enough time probably to talk about it. So pretty much this whole Discord server is pretty much a place for me so that my fans can actually see my work and they can get notifications whenever I post. Because nowadays, every place that I have, either no one's joining or TikTok doesn't want to let people know. So, yeah. And as you can see, the mask works perfectly. It moves just like how I was wanting it to, and I love it. I want to let you guys know that off camera, I did actually put some more felt on the sides of the mask because I wanted to make it to where you couldn't see the elastic or my face very much, which it ended up looking very well. I'll show you what it looked like, what the mask ended up looking like afterwards. And, well, it's also painted. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. I know that it was, again, mostly just a trial and error kind of video showing you my process, but there was not much actually teaching you. I mean, it's hard to teach myself, so this is as good as I'm gonna get until maybe the future I can do it again. But for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe or click the notification bell, comment anything, give me more ideas for what I should do next time. I love doing these videos, so please give me more ideas. I would love to have it. And anyways, bye, and I hope you guys have a lovely day, or afternoon, or morning. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye! Hello everyone, I would like to thank you all so much for all the support that you've given me for the past month. I had all of my commission slots taken this month. Every one of them. I had 3 this month, and they've all been taken. Thank you so much for the support. I'll be taking a break until further notice because I want to work on the commissions I have now before I can open up any more. But they're closed for now. They might open up back in like a week or two, but for now, this is what I have. I have got commissioned for a white lion mask, a bat raccoon hybrid, and an axolotl. I'm so excited to start working on these masks. I've already got pretty far on them. Again, if you join my Discord server, you can see a lot of progress on the masks that I've done, because I don't like to try and show them on video very much. It's really hard to find the photos that I have gotten on them. But for now, please check out my Discord server. My link will be in my bio. Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.